and Fez show. We are live today, 866-RON-0-FEZ, 866-RON-0-FEZ. The opening went in yesterday because while John C. Riley stood us up for the Unmasked, he was far too ill to come in and do an Unmasked yesterday, and I believe he passed away late last night, which is really, really sad, but the movie's coming out this weekend, and still go see it, almost as an homage to him. But we're standing out front having a smoke break out there going, well, what are we going to do? Can we get anybody else from the movie? And Fez says to me, hey, why don't we just get Paul McCartney? And I turn around, and here's the cute Beatle. He's walking straight down in front of us. And it was the weirdest thing in the world just to have a Beatle walk by you on the street. So everybody sees it, and I give them the, hey, how you doing, Paul? You know what I mean? Like, hey, Paul, how are you? You're looking good there, Paul. So, because what do you say? He's a Beatle. I mean, no matter, I don't know if you could ever get more famous than the Beatles. And I don't think any groups ever come close to them. And, we're talking 40 years out, and still, no one has come in a stone's throw of these guys. So when Paul McCartney walks by you on the street, it's kind of a strange thing. So everybody saw him, and then Dave did not. So Dave comes out, and we said, oh, you just missed Paul McCartney, because he walks by us, goes down to the light, stands there like a gentleman, crosses with the light, and he's just really walking down the street with another guy. It's not like a big deal. He wasn't making a big deal out of it. He's just walking through New York City. So we tell Dave, and Dave goes running off, basically looking like a retarded version of Hard Day's Night. He had the stupidest, his knees are up in the air, and he's just running as hard as his retarded legs will, and runs at Paul McCartney as maybe a 2007 version of Mark David Chapman. You run right up to his face?
Yeah, I ran right by him and just shouted at him, Paul! Like that. And he jumped.
Why wouldn't he?
Come on. He's got to be used to that.
No.
This guy wasn't bombarded with Beatlemania chicks.
Yes, but now he's 65 years old. And by the way, looks fantastic.
Oh.
And he... one of his bandmates got shot. The other one was stabbed until the cancer spread all over and killed him.
Right.
Every morning he probably wakes up thinking, is this the day a stupid fan is going to pick me? And you run up to him like that.
Well, I just had to find out where he was. Paul is when my absolute...
But why couldn't you be cool? Why couldn't you just go, there's Paul McCartney?
It's Paul McCartney. That's why I couldn't be cool. The guy is a living legend. He's in...
But you made it an unpleasant experience for him.
It doesn't matter. He has to be used to that.
I swear to God, I wish we were making this up. I wish that Dave, I had like a funny Dave story that wasn't true. It's 100% true, and there had to be 30 or 40 people who witnessed it, and then ran along kind of behind you, like 30 yards behind you, to see the uncomfortable situation.
Right.
So that really did start to look like Beatlemania there for a second. Now, Earl, you missed him? You didn't see him come by?
I didn't see him come by. I saw him once Dave came running out.
You wanted to run with Dave, did you?
No, I did not.
You lacked
When I saw him, I was just like, I'm not. If it's one guy, it's a maniac. It's two guys. Guess who's going to beat down first?
Oh, stop it! Paul would never turn racist. Didn't you ever see?
I'm sorry, I would guess the redhead.
Didn't you ever see Ebony and Ivory? Yes. He gets along fabulously with black people.
He does.
And it was just, an embarrassing situation all the way around. But it did happen. Now, I'm wondering why this even is. Why is it cooler to see Paul McCartney walk down the street than it is to see him do a concert in Madison Square Garden? You don't get that excited. Hey, there's Paul McCartney feeling... like you do.
Right.
It's like with Neil Young. I would much rather have seen him at the drugstore than I would have to sit there and watch him jam on one song for 28 fucking minutes.
I saw Paul at MSG, and this yesterday was a million times more thrilling for me.
But why is that? And I think it's like that with everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, no matter who the celebrity is, you would rather see them walking down the street.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is.
Because it's the surprise of a lifetime. You got your Paul McCartney tickets months and months ago. But you're just out there. I'm outside trying to have a smoke with Mr. Bennington, who's a superstar in his own right. But still, fucking Paul McCartney comes, and that is like, and also, let me say this, it's not his home base. He's not playing a musical instrument. He's not in front of a band. It's just you and Paul, and you can do whatever you want to him. And that's what I tried to do yesterday.
It is weird because, I don't know how many times I've seen him or I've seen Bowie, and when Bowie came to that party that Earl and I were at, the party literally stopped. Like nobody said a word. Like a pin could drop.
Right.
As Bowie came in. It took everybody, everyone was just like, there's Bowie. Like, no one yelled out. And then Earl just went like this. The Thin White Duke. As he's walking up the steps. It was a very, very weird situation. But I really did feel embarrassed by the fact that you went running after him.
I had to.
Rick, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, good afternoon, gentlemen. The reason that it's such a big deal to see somebody in person, it humanizes them. It makes them just like a regular Joe Schmo walking down the street. Whereas when they're on stage, it's silly, but it's almost like you're still watching them through a TV screen. It's almost like they're an act more than just a human.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I guess there's some truth to that, there is a wall between the performer and the audience. No matter how small of a place that you see them, there's still somewhat of a wall of we're on this side, you're on this side. But with Paul McCartney, we were all sharing a little piece of 14th Street.
Oh, man, and it was heaven. And
I don't know if it was heaven.
It was for me. Paul McCartney now completes 2/3 of my Heroes Over 60 club.
What's that?
That is people who I worship, my personal heroes who I've always wanted to see in person. I scratched one off in Tom Brokaw about a year ago with you and Fez when we saw him at that movie theater.
Oh, yeah.
Paul was yesterday, and now if I can just stalk Harrison Ford.
You had the opportunity.
I know. But seeing Paul was unbelievable, and he was dressed just like
Paul McCartney.
He was.
I mean, but the weird thing is, he looked like 1979 Wings Paul McCartney. Like sometimes,
great.
if you see him in magazines with Roseanne Arquette or whatever, he looks older now, and
Yeah.
But he did not look or walk like he was in his mid-60s.
No, he didn't. In fact, when I shouted at him, he did pick up his walk a little bit. He started to hustle a little quicker, and I was surprised he could move that well.
Why would you scream at a man?
I had to.
Will, what if he would have walked into traffic to get away from you, and you would have been the man who killed? And then we would have had a circle of fucking aged Beatlemaniacs around the building today screaming at us, and us yelling, "We can't help it. We're not responsible." Will, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, hey Ron, how's it going?
Yeah.
The reason why you think it's actually more exciting is because you actually have the personal, you actually have a chance to actually come face to face with that person. But when they're in concert, it's basically, okay, look, I'm sitting, 3-4 rows behind somebody. I got 2 million people here. Sorry.
Yeah, I got the point. Yeah, that it's not a personal experience to go to a concert.
Yeah. Also, he's not rehearsed.
But the
on the
weird
street.
thing is, the only thing I really like about the guy is the Beatles songs.
Yeah, it's
I think I'd rather hear "Hey Jude" than see him walk down the street, wait for the light, and then walk again.
I mean, come to think of it, I didn't think you even liked Paul McCartney.
The cute Beatle?
Now that I started to put this together.
Never.
What are you
Always.
talking about?
I've said time and time again, he's my favorite living Beatle, and he is.
You've never said that. I swear to God.
Well, he
Mr.
is
B, maybe
now.
I'm going nuts.
Now that he answered me back, he is my favorite living
All
Beatle.
you do is make fun of him when he had that Mr. Wendell or whatever that song was called.
Wendell?
You played.
Oh, you're getting him confused. He
You-
never did Mr. Wendell.
Well, whatever.
Who was that, Earl? It was the Black Kids. The Mr. Wendell song that was popular a few
Oh, that
years
was
ago.
not Arrested Development.
Oh, yeah, it was Arrested
That was
Development.
Arrested Development.
The TV show?
I'm
Not the
sorry.
TV show, the rap group.
I was thinking about Mr. Bellamy, but I do recall, Ron, you playing a whole shitload of songs on his solo album 4 or 5 months ago.
I find that hard to believe.
hard to believe.
My favorite living Beatle.
Since when?
The cute Beatle.
I've never heard you say this. You make fun of me all the time for saying Paul's my favorite.
There was the smart Beatle, John. The shy Beatle, Paul, George. The cute Beatle was Paul, and the untalented Beatle was Ringo.
Okay, see, that's unnecessary as well. We don't have to take down Ringo in this.
Well, I didn't see Ringo yesterday, or else I'd be raving about him.
I think it's BS.
Here's our good friend Sarah J, who we haven't talked to in forever.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
I just wanted to say that if I was there and I saw Paul McCartney walk by me, I probably would have freaked out even worse.
Honey,
that is.
You don't have to even worry about that because Paul ain't gonna be walking around Canada.
I know.
What is he gonna do? Put tennis rackets on his feet?
Unless he gets really lost.
If you were ever at the Iditarod and Paul came by, you'd be going crazy.
Well, it's my goal in life to see a Beatle in the flesh.
That's a goal that you have. That's the goal that you Canadians set for yourself.
No, just me.
It was mine too, Sarah. So
Okay,
I saw him with my eyes.
You know what I'm mad about? If we hadn't told you, you would have never seen him.
And that would have been
so
hard
I'm
pressure.
absolutely frustrated. Whoever opened up their mouth to Dave, because you're inside. Who did?
Fez Watley.
That was me.
Why, Fez? Why?
Because I thought I had taken a long enough pause that I thought for sure he would have missed them. In fact, I said, you just missed one of your heroes.
I would have gotten into a
over
cab
60
and say, follow Paul McCartney as fast as you can. I would have done anything. There was no way he was going to escape me yesterday. And in fact, after I ran past him and screamed, Paul, people forget, I also ran another 100 yards in the opposite direction so that I could stand, and then he could walk past me again. So I actually got to see him twice. And the second time, he was even more paranoid that I was going to do
But that
something
doesn't
than the
bother you
first.
that you have a hero that you freaked out.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it's how many times am I going to get to see Sir Paul McCartney, the living legend? I don't care if his nerves were unsettled. He gave me so much joy yesterday you can't possibly understand. Basically, he gave me a Christmas present that I'll never forget.
No, Fez gave you that Christmas present by shooting off his pie hole too early.
Oh, that's true.
And if anything would have happened to Paul, Sir Paul, as I like to call him, the cute Beatle, he would have ran into traffic. You'd be an accomplice for murder right now.
You never called him Sir Paul.
Well, he is a knight. He is a knight. And he deserves our respect. He deserves our respect. He was the lesser half of the greatest songwriting team of the last century.
Okay, first of all, that's unnecessary to say. Second of all...
Well, that's a hell of a compliment. You're in the greatest songwriting team of the last century. I would love to be.
You called him the lesser half, though. I think we could at least call him
That's
equal.
the official. That's in the official bio.
It's not. And I always...
He was the prettier half.
He was that. He was that. But I've always called him the Sir Paul, and you chastised me, saying he's not a... We're Americans. We don't have to follow that rule.
What would you bother you more? If you heard your partner referred to as the cute one or the smart one? Because it's kind of an insult to the other guy. Saying you're either ugly or you're dumb.
I'd rather have my partner be the smart one.
Really?
I'd rather be the cute one.
Earl?
I want to be the smart one.
Yeah. Fezzy?
The cute one would hurt my feelings. Yeah, self-image problems, cute one would really hurt my feelings.
But then, so you'd rather be known as the cute one than the smart one?
Yes.
Really?
Same thing with me, because you... And
I just want you to know you've lined up with Dave on this. Just so that does make you the dumb one. I don't know if it makes you a cute one, but you're definitely the dumb one.
I don't think I'm getting either.
Yeah.
You can tell all the people in this room who have self-image problems that they desperately want to be the cute
why
one.
wouldn't your self-image have to do with smart? Who would want to be... cute is just a matter of, the way your face was formed by nature.
I think you get a lot more things and a lot more benefits being cute in this world than being smart, believe it or not.
Tony, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Yeah.
I just want to tell Dave, Dave, it's no one. I mean, there's no wonder he didn't want to acknowledge you when you run up like a freak. I've met a lot of famous sports stars. I mean, I was at your show back at January 1st, the first show I was in your studio. I met you guys. I've met O&A. I've talked to him. As long as you act normal, I mean, they're just
Tony, you know what
people.
this was, though? This was the fucking Jersey in him coming out. Because no New Yorker ever acts like that.
Yeah.
Just Jersey people.
Well, I mean...
I'll say this. I don't even think people from Long Island would do that. People from Long Island who think they're New Yorkers, they act fucking cool about it.
Well, I think it crosses state lines. I think it's more about being a Beatle fan. I've been a Beatle fan since I was 6 years old, so to see one of them...
I guarantee you, Stalker Patty, who's a bigger Beatle fan than you are, would not run and scream and scare Paul McCartney. She would know how to be cool.
Well, to be fair, I wasn't trying to, I wasn't trying to frighten Sir Paul.
But you got to know that you didn't act fucking cool.
I do know that. But what the hell? I mean, first of all, if I didn't run, I wasn't going to find him. He was 2 blocks away.
Chris, you're on Ron and Fez.
I just want to ask Earl why he didn't take credit for Dave seeing Paul.
He will as the years go by.
Yeah.
He'll take the credit away from Fez. That's what Earl does.
I have it locked in my steel trap. It was Fez Watley who let me...
Steel trap is why you're not considered the smart one. That you call your brain a steel trap. As if nothing could get in or out.
You know, Ronnie, today on the O&A show, you got an apology from Jimmy Norton, who thought all this time that it was Earl that set him up to see Sabbath and took all the credit when it was really your pass.
Someone tell Ron that I'm apologizing for the last 2 years. I've been giving stupid Earl credit for getting me in to see Sabbath. Earl did take the picture. The pass he got me, though, was Ron Bennington's pass.
Oh, right.
And I believe Ron gave up that pass so I could go. I'm assuming he did that. He may not have.
Of course he did.
Thank
He's
you,
a
Ron,
martyr. Of
and
course
my
he did.
apologies.
Great man. He's like Jesus.
He certainly is.
Let's go to Chris in
Jim,
Boston.
you're in front of Sabbath. Hello.
Wouldn't that have been thrilling if Fez hadn't stole the thunder by telling me everything that was on the clip? Here's exactly everything that's in a clip, and now I'll play the clip.
Right.
You're the cute one, Fezzy. No doubt about it.
I'm neither.
And I got the Jesus. Out to see Sabbath.
I'm still glad
They
you
think
get
I
the
drag my asses.
I don't see that at all.
All I'm trying to do is kill time. That's all I'm trying to do on this show is kill time. Fez, set up a song like this. This is a song called Maybe I'm Amazed. Maybe I'm amazed the way you're with me all the time. Here's our friend Mikey Background. Hello, Mikey.
Hey, what's up, buddies?
Hey.
I just wanted to say, as a representative of Long Island and a lifelong Beatle fan, I was standing next to Dave when Fez came in and said he just missed one of his heroes. And I was tempted to go outside. I was inside the club at the time. But the way Dave took off, I was like, if I ever meet Paul McCartney, it can't be next to a lunatic. I just have to be cool and wait this one out.
Now, is that you being cool? Or were you so busy making goo-goo eyes at HTG all day yesterday that you couldn't pull yourself away from her?
I think that was me trying to be a cool New Yorker,
No.
although I do wish I went outside just to at least see him. But
Oh, he was fantastic, too. There was a glow around him.
He was, a beautiful
My
man.
favorite Beatle
He's
that's
not
still
your-
alive.
okay.
That's still alive.
He's not your. It doesn't. You can't put that.
He's my
disclaimer
third
there.
favorite Beatle.
You're making it sound like.
And my favorite of all the living Beatles.
Mr. B. Everyone knows you're anti-Paul. You've been anti-Paul
No.
since I've met you.
No. Then why would he and I said hi to each other?
You said hi to him.
I know, he did say hi. He returned. Did he not return my greetings?
It was very classy interaction. It was,
Yeah.
hey, Paul, and it was a very nice nod and hello back from
I
Paul
went like this.
McCartney.
Hey, Paula.
That's not even the right. That's for
still.
a chick.
I know.
And
I
secondly-
never fucking did it.
Oh.
You B&T.
Okay, and also that's a human instinct.
But I will say this, Mikey Background. You got me a little jealous yesterday. Yeah, I felt like you did it on purpose. Goo-goo eyes. Goo-goo eyes all that time.
Nah, we were just talking, and Cheapy was there. He'll vouch for my honor.
Oh, I see. I see. Maybe the wife's listening, huh?
She's at work right now. She's not listening.
Perfect. Did you run one out? Did you run one out thinking about her last night?
No, I did not.
Sure.
Okay. Well, you're the only one then.
BS.
All right, Mikey. And from what I understand, you and Mikey D made up.
Yeah, we did. Everything's. There was never a problem between us. There was just miscommunication between the band and the person who was booking that show.
Well, I know for a fact someone told Letitia that he hated you. But that someone, we decided, not even a credible source.
You know what? Mikey actually told me he ran down a list of things that he actually did say about me and about the band, and things that he said to certain people that got out there, and those who said those things, I'm guessing won't be trusted as much in the future. But everything couldn't be cooler between me and Mikey D. We never had a problem.
There you go. You're both gentlemen. Thank you very much, Mikey.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Bye.
See ya.
Now they
He
can
didn't
cheer.
even go outside to see Paul McCartney because of the way you were acting.
Well, that's his loss in my gain. You know, and fine, go, and now him and Mikey D can share perm products, but I'm the one who saw a fucking Beatle, dude.
That's natural, their hair. I'm sure.
One of their hair. One of their hair, and I'm not saying which one. I wish I could have shaved his head right in front of Deb yesterday. Just shaved his head and go, now look at him. Now what does he have for you? Well, he's banging on them bongos like a chimpanzee. I got to talk to my good friend Fred from Brooklyn. Hello, Fred.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? Hey, Dave, I'm fucking appalled. I can't believe you would see a celebrity on the streets of New York and run after him like that.
I had
fucking
to.
pathetic.
Were you not the man who dove into an elevator with a very tiny Martin Scorsese?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You forgot that story, didn't you?
Sorry about that.
Yeah. The weed doesn't lie. God, our friends are nuts. Seriously, we're a motley crew. We're worse than Motley Crue.
And just for the record, I mean, I've seen celebrities on the street. People have to understand, this is Paul McCartney. Sir Paul McCartney. He's bigger, he's better than every other celebrity I've ever encountered on the street. And I've encountered a bunch of them.
Well, I mean, it's hard to beat a Beatle. You can't beat the Beatles.
No.
You know?
The only person on par is,
the biggest band ever, and there's still the biggest band ever 40 years later. If you were to do some kind of biggest bands of all time, you're not going to beat the Beatles.
You can't. And
you think people chased fucking Bruce Springsteen or Bono down the street? Or Pink Floyd would do their show and walk out through the crowd. Nobody even knew them. Them, Steely Dan, there's plenty of fucking people. How many fucking bands does everyone? I mean, your mom, your cousin, your baby daughter, all whip off the names of everybody in the band. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know if you happen to be a fan of a certain band, you know, Dave, I know that you'll easily be able to tell us everyone in Dokken. But I don't know if most people are able to get past Donnie Dokken. I don't know. And I think even Eddie Trunk would back me up that the Beatles are the biggest band in history. In history! They're the biggest band. Here's Joe. Joe, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah.
I was there yesterday, and I agree. I would have done the same thing that Dave did. What time? When did he go out? When did McCartney go by?
I don't know. I mean, it was after John C. Reilly took a huge shit all over on Mass, so it must have been like around noon, I guess.
I think it was just before noon. Yeah,
It was 11:47 actually, because I looked at my watch so I could remember it.
Eastern
Are you
Standard
fucking
Time.
kidding me?
No, I'm not. It was 11:47 a.m. on 14th Street.
Now, when you told this story to your chick later, did you tell her what an ass you acted like, or
No,
did
of
you act
course
like it was cool?
I'm like, hey, I happened to run into Paul McCartney yesterday.
Why do you run with your knees so high? You run like Kramer.
That's the way you're supposed to run. You said you should have high strides. They
Yeah.
say. Yeah. That's the way you're supposed
Oh, that's
to
the
do it.
medal
By
in
the
the
way-
Special Olympics.
By the way, with our opening this morning, I also wanted to say this. Yesterday was the 10th anniversary of when Chris Farley got cold on us. So 10 years ago, yesterday, we
Wow.
lost Chris Farley.
That's incredible. That was a decade ago.
Isn't that nuts?
That is.
Isn't that crazy?
I thought it would be a lot more.
He was dead more years than we know him. You know what I mean? He's gone more years than we actually know him. Scott, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, buddies, 287-253.
Yeah.
Hey, Ron, I got a question. Say Elvis was still alive, and it was him who was walking down the street. Would you still be as excited as meeting the biggest person on the planet?
The King?
Yep.
The King would be big, but the King is not bigger than the Beatles. The Beatles were bigger than the King. I think you got to go the Beatles, then Elvis.
Because the Beatles had just as many, if not more, #1 singles, but then their albums, they have a lot more #1 albums.
But let's remember this. The Beatles swept Elvis under the carpet, but nobody became bigger than the Beatles. They just fucking broke up on their own.
Yes.
And I hate to say that to the King, and I wouldn't say it in front of Scylla. I would not. If Scylla came in here, and I'd be glad to meet her. I'd be glad to see where Elvis's dick went. I'd be thrilled. But I would say to her, "Oh yeah, Elvis was bigger than Bill." But I don't think I would say it to anyone else.
Yeah. It's like if Ali retired after the Foreman fight. It was the same thing.
First of all, no boxer beats Ali. No boxer. No boxer beats Ali. There's something about those 60 fucking guys. What goddamn astronaut would you like to see? Neil Armstrong. He's the fucking main man.
I'll take him over anybody. Well, can you even name people in the 80s? I know the
Sally Ride.
Oh,
I can name the great Sally Ride.
I know her.
But if she walked down the street, we wouldn't know her. We're like, who?
Yeah, I know.
Who's that old lady? Who's that old lady?
I remember her being a brunette.
Yeah.
That was about it. Oh, Paul. And he was dressed just like he was in the Fool on the Hill video, if I could paint a mental picture. For people who know the Fool on the Hill video, he had a long black coat, beautiful looking long black coat.
He did not have a long black coat.
Oh, yeah, he did.
No, he didn't have a long black coat.
He had like a short coat, almost like a peacoat.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was black, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
All
black.
right.
But there was no long, beautiful black coat. He looked like he just got off a fucking boat from Liverpool. So you don't know anything.
I was running, so.
Yeah. Jim, you're on Ron and Fez.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, guys. Happy Winter Carnival. Elvis once said in an interview that the Beatles were like the Beatles were like four Elvises, so he said the Beatles were bigger than Elvis.
Well, I mean, what's he going to say? I'm bigger than them? I mean, it's not a nice thing. But I'll tell you right now, and I'm not trying to bust the king's balls, but I'd rather see Elvis Costello walk down the street than Elvis Presley. And then when I was on Elvis Presley Boulevard, I didn't even see him. Well, it's crazy. Oh, yeah, it was after he died.
Yeah.
Gone by then.
Too bad.
30 years since the Kings died.
Yesterday?
No, that was in August, I think.
Mm-hmm. So why
no.
Why even worry about it?